Hello once again. We are back in the World of Sport exclusive weekend with your boy Camilos Lovos on Natural Television Ankara, Turkey. We are very happy to meet you once again here, and we are bringing you down with different news from different fields in different sports. As we are having this opportunity of the World of Sport exclusive weekend, today we're gonna be in Africa, especially in football. As we are heading to Africa, I tried to get an analyst. Our guest of today is an analyst, a very loving football, and is going to be with us with the different statistics, analysis, and the point of view on African football. Allow me to just welcome my friend, my brother, Edwin, and give you the floor so that you can introduce yourself to the viewers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Camilos. I go by the names Edwin Sosthenes.
Wow.
I've been here in Turkey for almost 3 to 4 years, and I'm very passionate in football.
Great.
I played it, but later due to some education purposes, I had to leave it. So later I said, okay, with football, if I'm not playing, then I should do some analysis. I should follow it up and watch it. So I've been following up the World Cup ever since when I was a child, African football and European football, of course. So you know it better.
It's our pleasure to have you on Natural Television from
Thank you very much.
Turkey.
It's also my pleasure.
We really enjoy to have you with different parties that we are having in African football. We are having Africa Cup of Nations, the qualifiers last group stages matches are happening this weekend. We are having also CAF Champions League, CAF Confederation Cup, and really football in Africa is booming up. But before we enter so many details, I would like to listen from you. How do you see African football? Because we have been struggling for so many years without getting even a World Cup. But as the years are passing, we are having different parties. African nations are really moving up. Teams like Senegal, Egypt, Tunisia, the South Africa. So how do you see African football? How do you really see African football?
Actually, when I start analyzing the African football, it's growing. It's like never before, and with this being the case, for example, we are now exporting a lot of players to European and other sides of the world. For example, we have several African players who are playing in Turkey.
Yeah, they are right.
And with that being the case, also within Africa itself, leagues, national leagues, they are strengthening up. Apart from strengthening up, also we have the CAF, like the Cup of Nations. Yeah. Previously, there used to be 8 teams in going to the finals, but now we have 16. And later they shifted to 16, but now we have 24. 24 now. And with that being the case, it shows that the African football is growing. And it's not only limited to the traditional powerhouses like you mentioned, Nigeria, Egypt, Morocco. Nowadays, we also see some powerhouses which are emerging. You couldn't imagine that Mauritania and Namibia, they are on the verge of qualifying from their groups. Yes. So
that really brings me immediately to the topic of the first topic of our show today about this Africa Cup of Nations. We have seen some matches last evening, where we got Algeria drawing with Gambia. A team like Algeria is one of the teams that really was every team would be scared, but Gambia coming up and equalize with Algeria. Same thing you were mentioning. Team like Swaziland, when defeated by Tunisia. We were even having last night we were having Burkina Faso winning Mauritania. We had Botswana also, who was defeated by Angola, and Nigeria defeated Seychelles, as we were also having Sudan being defeated by Equatorial Guinea, one of the emerging new team. And Equatorial Guinea, after beating Sudan, we were seeing Morocco equalizing with Malawi. That's something really strange. But as we move on with the CAF Cup of Nations, we are having also matches to come. But before we go to the match to come this weekend, I would like to hear from you what is this? Where is this coming from? Having like teams like Morocco equalizing with Malawi. What is happening in Malawi and how is this coming?
Actually, you know, many people would, football is changing. People used to give much priority or like chances to big teams with names. But nowadays, names don't work. Everything is done on the pitch. For example, as you pointed out, the game of Malawi versus Morocco. Morocco came, it was 1-1, the final score. You know, 5 or 10 years back, nobody wouldn't imagine
that
something
would be
could be like that.
It
would be a 6-0 draw. Like straight away, 6-0. But football is played on the pitch, and with the results showing that, it shows that the African players, African football is emerging, and it's becoming more stronger than ever.
Seriously.
And who knows? Unfortunately, we have 5 places to qualify for the World Cup. Who knows if we are granted more chances, we'll show them. Actually, for example, Europe, it has 55 nations to football, but they have 12 places.
Seriously.
Africa, it has 54 nations, but we only have 5 chances.
But the chances are that we can be having more to above to 9 teams in the World Cup, But it sounds like it will be really amazing seeing a team like Malawi, seeing a team like Guinea, Equatorial Guinea in World Cup.
Actually,
and really, that's really amazing. But it takes me to these group stages of CAF Nation Cup, African Cup of Nations, where I would like to pass on in all the 10 groups. Then we can try to see this. Like in the group number 1, we are having Senegal, Malawi, Equatorial Guinea, and the Sudan. And now it is being led by Senegal, where Equatorial Guinea, after winning last night, after winning this last evening they won against Sudan. Now they are the second. And the team like Madagascar and Sudan, it seems that Madagascar also now is amazing because they are having 10 and they are having a match with the Sudan. Then I'm like, this Senegal, was it a very an easy way for Senegal, or it has been because Senegal got 13 points and they're having another match, the last match today? So I'm like, was it an easy way for Senegal to pass on?
I wouldn't say that it was an easy way. Anyway, Senegal, it's a traditional powerhouse of football in Africa. But you know, the distance between Senegal and Madagascar, it's almost like 7,000 kilometers. So traveling with the team 7,000 kilometers, the players get tired. And then later playing the football itself on the pitch, it shows that players are getting more matured. And instead of doing things outside, they do it inside the pitch. And for example, with Senegal, up to date, yes, it still have one more match in hand. It's the outstanding team. It has not lost.
They have not lost.
It's not an easy way which Senegal has passed through, but they are working more and more. As you said before, you have Madagascar in that team. So it shows that they were offering a bit of competition.
Really?
Even though from that competition, at the end, you must have a winner. Yes. And with the winner of the group emerging now, being Senegal, so they're strengthening, really.
Seriously. With that point, I would like to go to the Group B. Group B, one of the toughest, because the defending champion, Cameroon, is in the Group B, but they are not even ruling the group. Morocco is now on the top of the group, and Morocco they managed last night to draw with Malawi, and Morocco now it seems that Morocco really has been already qualified. But I would like to know, Malawi was on the race with Cameroon and Morocco and Cameroon tonight, this evening. What do you think about this match?
Actually, Morocco that Morocco and Mali match, when we start, it was very competitive.
Yes.
And as we discussed earlier, the final score showed it.
Yeah.
But the match to come between Cameroon and Comoros, that's going to be a final decider.
Seriously.
Because who knows, if Comoros manage to beat the giant Cameroon, we could have another story of David and Goliath.
Seriously.
And I love the so-called underdogs. You know, when you have an underdog going and in a competition and showing wonders, even though every pundit will be giving little chances to Comoro for qualification, but I love the story of underdogs. That's why here I would bet on Comoro. It's very risky, but I'll bet on Comoro to down Cameroon. So Cameroon fans and Cameroonians, very sorry for this, but I love the story of underdogs. And it shows that football is progressing.
But on the other hand, everyone could say Cameroon as the defending champion of the last edition of Cup of Nations. This is this is a do or die. This is a do or die. They should win this match and just qualify to be in Egypt in this summer.
Yes, actually, they are going to invest all of their efforts to make sure that they're winning, because it will be like an outcry or it will be like a national disaster in Cameroon. You know, Cameroon is very a footballic nation.
Yeah.
You have Samuel Eto'o and others.
Yeah,
so it will be like a disaster. You know, it's like an earthquake for Cameroon not to qualify. So they would be trying to do their best, but mind you, Comoro also wouldn't want to lose easily.
Seriously.
So it will be an interesting match, and I would welcome our viewers to make sure that they watch that match.
Seriously, that takes me to the Group C, where we are having another fight.
Oh, wow.
Burundi and Gabon.
Wow.
Burundi and Gabon. Gabon was the hosts of the last edition of 2017. Yeah. Now they are fighting to appear in Egypt in this summer. Burundi, they are not letting it go like easily. Now the Burundians and the East Africa, now they are gathering together so that we can find Burundians seeing in Egypt this next summer. But Gabon, as the host of last edition, it's another fight. How do you see it?
Actually, in that group, when we look at Mali, it's on the course of qualification. Obviously, it has 11 points. Yeah. But the battle is going to be between Burundi and Gabon, because Burundi has 9 points, already. Gabon has 7 points. Yes. And with Burundi, for example, you have an international player called Saido Berahino. Everybody knows him. He plays in England. Anyway, he has been having some issues, but with Gabon, many of the players are playing in Europe. Yeah. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, if you're an Arsenal fan, obviously must be knowing. Yeah. So this is the match also to watch, and I hope we'll get all the rhythm, all the vibes in it. And for example, I've got certain information that Burundians here in Turkey, they'll be gathering in Konya to watch this match. True. It's going to be a do-or-die moment, as you said it before, because underdogs, you know, Gabon, everybody in this match will be giving higher chances for Gabon to qualify. But Burundi, I wrote for Burundi, as usual, going back, story of the underdogs. Not only story of the underdogs, it shows that they have power, they have the will and the determination to do it. And they'll do it.
I hope too, but in that case, I would rather progress to Group D, where Algeria and Benin seems to be already gone passed through. But the team here, my question is, what happened to Togolese? Togo has been really one of the giants with the history of football in Africa. They have been really doing well, but now I don't see Togo. What happened to Togo? Now they are the third in the group, and they're having 5 points. What happened to Togo? What do you think?
Togo, actually, they've been having some issues with the football association, and there's a point in time with which the famous Togolese Adebayo, who plays in Istanbul Başakşehir, everybody knows him. He opted out of the team, and then later he returned. So with these crises which have been facing, maybe in one way or another that has affected their performance in this group. to qualify for the African Cup of Nations. But Benin is also a good team.
It's a good team.
It's a good team, and who knows? Because the difference between those teams, Benin and Togo, is 2 points. One has 7, one has 5. So Togo, they could get together also. They could try to qualify. If, for example, Benin loses that match, the last match, they would remain with 7 points, while Togo could get 8 points. Yeah. But they should win.
They should win.
Yeah, it's a condition.
Yeah.
So that they could get back to the glory which they used to have before.
True.
Otherwise, we continue with the story of the underdogs.
So the same thing goes to the following group, the group E, where giants, South Africa, Nigeria, and Libya. This was, I think, Seychelles was the only, the underdog, as you said, in this team, as really they also struggled. But now, the difference between South Africa and Libya, it's only 2 points. And they're having to fight that match today. So, what do you think? Of course, it seems that Nigeria, they have already, the Super Eagles already qualified. But what about South Africa and Libya?
It's going to be like a final day. You know, they call it Kiyama. It's going to be like a final day. You know, they're going to play it. Because South Africa and Libya, they're giants of football in Africa. And all of them, they've been qualifying. But to be placed in the same group versus Nigeria, to me, for example, this is the group of death.
Seriously?
You know, the group of death. So, Nigeria having emerged victorious in this group, it will be a battle between South Africa and Libya. South Africa and Libya, every team will be trying to win in order to get the spot, the second spot from this group. For example, if they draw, it means that Libya will be out because Libya will be having 8 points, South Africa will be qualifying with 8 points. So there is a chance for any team among the two to win and go.
That's it.
And they should win. Seriously. If they don't win,
that's it. That's another story too.
That's another story.
Bafana and the Mediterranean, it's a do or die.
It's a do or die.
You go, you lose, you go home.
And it's very amazing that Libya have been having some political crisis, but it has not affected the football. It's the same as we are going to discuss about Congo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Same thing. Anyway, in that case, I would like to enter the other group, the group G, where we are having Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone didn't appear at any match. They didn't appear on any match, but it doesn't stop that Ghana, Kenya, and Ethiopia, they were struggling. They were just playing. Now we're having Kenya ruling the group, but I'm wondering what happened to Ghana. Ghana is a big giant. Ghana, with Ayudede, with all the people, with all the players that we know here in Turkey, everywhere in Europe. But what happens to Ghana? Everyone was thinking that Ghana would be the leader of this group.
When you talk about Ghana, yes, they're giant. But you should remember also 1 or 2 years ago, there emerged about the accusation of corruption within football. So in one way or another, also that impacted their performances.
Yes.
And with Kenya, also Kenya had issues in their football, but now they are bringing themselves up together.
Seriously.
And they managed to get 7 points. You know, Ghana has 6, but Kenya has 7.
Yes.
So they'll be battling for the last match, obviously, between who is going to win the group. Because, you know, if you win a group, then you'll be placed against the second team, which is quite inferior, because everybody is afraid of being matched against the group winner. So football is growing in Africa.
Really?
Kenya is performing well. Certain countries are going back, like Ghana, they're going step back. But I hope with time they could brace themselves and move together, move ahead.
Thank you very much for the comments. But so as we are moving fast with the group, all the groups passing in all the groups, I would like, it's the same as you started saying that we are having a new era of football in Africa, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe ruling the group G with DRC Congo there. that we are having Zimbabwe ruling. How are you seeing this? And beside that, Liberia also is there. Liberia also is there and is there on the second. Who is going to qualify from this group?
For this group, anybody can qualify.
Anyone can go.
And that's a very sad story, but it's also good. You know, sometimes you have bittersweet moment. So when you have bittersweet moment, Zimbabwe is performing very well. They have been having political crisis, but it's not affecting their football. Yeah. And that's the spirit which we are supposed to have as Africans, because we should not let the politics affect our football.
No, our sport should always move forward.
Should always move forward.
Yeah,
that's why, for example, Zimbabwe and Liberia, they're moving very well. And previously, Congo, they were doing very great.
Very nice.
But they have been struggling to make sure that what translates from their league or from the African Cup from their Champions League teams like TP Mazembe or whatever,
yes,
it translates also to their the national team.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a sad moment, but they are moving well, and I hope from this team, from this group, they're leading obviously Zimbabwe and Liberia. I hope they qualify, even though Congo, DRC, they still have a chance. It's minimal, however minimal the chance is, they still have a chance of qualifying.
Of course, because even this Congo Republic also can qualify. Yes, because they're having 5 points. If they manage to win their match, they are now getting, because they are playing Liberia, and if they are playing Liberia, if they manage to win the match, they are already they are playing Congo Republic is playing Zimbabwe. If they manage to win, they are getting 8.
Actually, that's it. You know, the best thing is winning your teams. Yes. Why? Winning your team matches while you pray for the other group to lose or draw. Yeah. So if Congo playing Zimbabwe wins the match, and Liberia playing Congo DRC draws, Congo could have an edge and qualify. So this group, it's not a group of death, but I would put it as an open group.
It's an open group. Anyone can qualify.
Anyone can qualify. Anyone can.
Yeah, that takes me to another group. This group where Guinea, as you said, Guinea having 11 points, followed by Cote d'Ivoire. Here it seems that all the two teams have qualified, but I'm surprised seeing Cote d'Ivoire being the second, whereas Guinea is running the group.
That's football.
That's football.
That's football.
Really.
Expect unexpected from football.
True.
This is the magic of football. And we should enjoy. We should enjoy every moment, because, you know, many pundits, or you have the betting companies, when this draws out, actually many of the betting companies or many of the people, pundits especially, were giving higher chances of Cote d'Ivoire to Ivory Coast to qualify.
Everyone was thinking Ivory Coast is going to rule the team.
Guinea. Wow. Say Guinea. Guinea is emerging. Like, they're leading this group.
Right.
According to mathematics, they have already qualified.
Because 11, the difference is 3 points with Cote d'Ivoire, and the other team like Central African Republic and Rwanda, they have already gone. So they are qualified.
They have qualified. And mind you, in this group, for example, if Central African Republic manages to win their last match, they could edge over Cote d'Ivoire.
Yeah, they are getting 8.
So it shows that.
And if Rwanda also win, because Rwanda is going to be playing with the Ivory Coast, if they win against Ivory Coast is gone. Ivory Coast is gone already.
So I'm sure you mentioned Rwanda because you're rooting for your team to win.
Yeah.
Actually, with you just want to finish the match. So make sure that you help destroy one of the big elephants. You know, they call themselves elephants of Africa in football. And to destroy it, or to make sure if you win, you get your prestige, and you help another brother, Central African Republic. If it manages to beat Guinea, then we'll be having, you know,
we're having two Central African Republic and Guinea running, qualifying to see them in the summer. That's amazing.
Yes, it will be very
Same thing also, as you were saying about the new emerging teams. Now I'm having in the other group, Mauritania emerging. Mauritania and Angola and Burkina Faso, another fight. Mauritania is having 12, Angola 12, and Burkina Faso 10. Who is going to go?
For me, in this group, I'm rooting for Mauritania and Angola.
Well,
You know, when the draw was out, many people would say that Angola and Burkina Faso would qualify from this group. But a surprise package, Mauritania emerged, winning 12 points, meaning that it has lost one match and one to go, then it may achieve 15. But so far so good, it means that it has won 4 matches. Out of this hard group, surprise packages, they exist very well and they're very important for football. True. It's like same with Iceland.
Yes.
You remember with the Euro?
Yeah.
So surprise packages, they managed to knock out big teams. And for the Egypt Cup, which you're going to play, like the African Cup of Nations in 2019, many people don't know much of Mauritania, but I would urge them to do their homework about Mauritania. Yeah. Who knows? It may emerge also to be it may be crowned the champion of this coming Summer Cup.
That's also the same thing with the next group. With this group it was a group of big giants, Tunisia and Egypt, and they have already qualified. This one we don't have too much to talk about it because Egypt will be the hosts of they will be home and they already managed to qualify. That's another party with the Northern Africans. Tunisia also they are their neighbor. Now we don't have much to talk about it, but we hope this also is another story when we are entering the summer, when we will be having the draw between the teams and we will be enjoying really the Cup of Nations. But allow me to jump and go to the last group. This last group of Tanzania, Uganda, Lesotho and Cape Verde. This is a very, of course Uganda, if you see Uganda was really leading this because they managed to get 13 points. They just, I think they equalized once. Then, now, Tanzania also is there. Tanzania is there and Tanzania is hosting Uganda today. And if Tanzania is, for Tanzanians, it's a do or die. The two teams, they are neighbors. The two teams, they are, for Uganda, they are playing for their glory as to the neighbor. But we are having Tanzania who wants 100% to qualify. Lesotho is there with Tanzania, same marks, 5-5. Lesotho is playing with Cape Verde, and we really need to see what Tanzania can do.
Actually, may I declare interest? I'm Tanzanian, so this is very controversial. For Tanzania to qualify from this group, they should win their match against Uganda.
Yes.
Praying for Cape Verde to win the match against Lesotho. Yes. Because if Tanzania wins the match versus Uganda and Lesotho wins the match against Cape Verde,
we go head to head.
You go to head to head. When you go head to head, Lesotho have a better advantage because they scored 2 goals against Tanzania in Lesotho. So, however, Tanzania could score even 100 goals versus Uganda.
Which is also another thing, which is also another story because Uganda also is a neighbor as the two teams in East Africa. One of it's a East Africa derby. I don't think so.
It's an East Africa derby, and recently when we check from the history, Uganda has been outweighing. It has been urging Tanzania and winning most of the matches when they meet, whether it's friendly or in CECAFA.
Yes.
Uganda has been urging Tanzania. So actually here we are praying for a miracle.
Yes.
Because, you know, God normally listens to positive prayers. Now for us here as Tanzania, we pray for us to win the match versus Uganda, while we pray also for Lesotho to lose their match. So I hope God listen to these 2 players.
Okay.
They're quite different.
That's true.
But I'm rooting for Tanzania to qualify.
Anyway,
it will be when you have more African teams East African teams qualifying for it. We will challenge the West and the North Africans. You know, they are quite powerful.
Yes. Anyway, that takes me to my last point about this Africa Cup of Nations. We have been seeing normally in recent years we have been seeing Northern Africans and the West Africans really dominating this the African Cup of Nations. But now I'm really surprised seeing a team like Burundi just trying to qualify. Uganda already qualified. When I move down to South Africa, I'm seeing Zimbabwe already qualified, almost qualified. I'm seeing teams like Malawi. Even in Malawi, they are emerging, but even if they cannot qualify, I'm seeing Bafana of South Africa also. Now they are having a struggle with Libya. So I hope with the 24 teams that we are going to have in June in Egypt, in Cairo, in Egypt. So I think we are going to have a mix. We are going to have a mix.
Yes, we are going to have a mix. And, I agree. Like having a mix like between the traditional giants and the underdogs, the new emerging. Anyway, underdog is not a good name. New emerging.
Yes.
It will be interesting to have that. And mind you, the Africa Cup of Nations, before, it used to be played in January.
Yes.
And many European teams and wherever, they are complaining, especially the clubs, letting go the African players to go and play and then coming back. But now, this will be the first edition with which the competition will be happening in summer. So it will encourage also the recruitment processes, especially to the African players to play in Europe and other places of the world. And traditionally, the traditions, it's going to change because it will be the first competition of African Cup of Nations to be played in summer. So anything can happen. After these teams qualifying, let's wait for the teams to qualify, and then later, who knows, we might have another conversation among us to determine which team has an edge or which team could be rooted to be crowned as the new African Cup champions. Yeah. But I hope the new African Cup champion, which is going to happen in Egypt over the summer, could be coming from these emerging teams. Because anyway, it's very good, but we are tired of hearing the traditional like Egypt, Nigeria and whatever. This new emerging team.
Let's see like Mauritania just...
Mauritania. Maybe it will be an amazing story.
Yeah, very
it will be amazing to hear Burundi being crowned if they win. Or Uganda.
Why not?
Or Zimbabwe.
Why not?
It will be very nice.
Be amazing. So, thank you very much, Mr. Edwin, for the comments about this Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers, and we really hope even our viewers are going to enjoy the matches. In that case, I would like to just take another move, still in Africa, in CAF Champions League. CAF Champions League is one of the good and the overviewed tournament in Africa, but this time after the group stages, we have also still, as you were saying, the tradition is still there dominating. As in the quarterfinals, we're having 4 Northern African clubs. Is this meaning that the clubs? Of course, we are seeing new nations emerging, but the clubs, some of the clubs even disappeared. The old clubs disappeared, but we are still having the four teams from North African. What do you think about this?
For example, it's all about investment.
Yes.
In football. Traditionally in Africa, especially beginning from the 70s, 80s, going to the 90s, much of the investment in football was done in North and West Africa,
really?
Where they would have small clubs, or they would have centers, sports centers, nurturing young players, and then those players would be, in time, they would develop and going to play for their own club teams, and later to the national teams. So, without being the case in East and South Africa, in Southern Africa, we didn't invest much.
Yeah.
And also Central Africa, we didn't invest much in football.
Yeah.
So with that being the case, I'm not surprised seeing out of 8 teams, 4 are coming from North Africa. There's a club, for example, like Enyimba, which used to be a powerhouse.
That's my question. My question is, where has gone these giants? Enyimba, Ashanti Kotoko. What are these teams? I don't see them. And I'm like, teams this young Africa, the young Africa from Tanzania. These teams, where have they gone? What is happening? Because if you are seeing the defending champion Esperance de Tunis is there, WAC Casablanca came back, El Alahiri come back, and we have even a new from Maghreb, the Horoya FC from
Guinea.
Guinea. So now those teams, where have they gone?
As I said before, football is changing rapidly.
Really?
So the traditional names, they are going because football is played in the pitch.
Yeah.
It's not played by words or history. So many people are working to beat history because the previous history was written by the winners,
yes,
but now the new history is written by the emerging teams.
True.
Yes, we had those Enyimba and whatever, but if they are not doing their thing on the pitch, then what happens? We would have other teams which are working out. For example, see a team like TP Mazembe.
Wow.
They have invested a lot of money into their system of bringing up players, having a good stadium, and we are seeing the fruits. Really? They are working out very well. They even went to the World Club Cup. And even though they lost, but at least they showed their strength.
Seriously.
That when you invest much, especially to the young generation, under 17, under 15, it pays off because in 5-7 years, those players will be having 20 to 23 years and they will be playing very well.
Anyway, in that case, I would like to just pass through. I am not going to look in all stages how it all went, but I would like to focus on this draw of quarterfinals. The draws of quarterfinals are really amazing. From Tanzania, let me start from Tanzania. Simba, after knocking out Vita Club from Congo, now you are meeting another giant from Congo. So it is a Congo, it is Tanzania, Congo, it's a battle. So after, as a Tanzanian, as a football analyst, after seeing Simba drew to win, to play against TP Mazembe, how did you take it?
For me, really, it was like a nightmare, to be fair. But, you know, let me declare also interest. I'm a Simba supporter.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I'm very happy to have you.
It's controversial,
really?
But let me put my support or my fan beside and talk reality. For example, in when you check on the standout performers and stuff, Mazembe are really good.
Really?
From all the groups, it's the only team which scored 13 goals.
Really?
And they only 4 goals, they allowed 4 goals to cross their nets. So it's another challenge.
Yes.
For example, when you talk about Vita used to be a very nice club, and it is a good club.
It is still.
They won against Simba 5-0 in Congo.
In Congo.
And Simba, what it did, it won 2-1 in Dar es Salaam.
Yeah.
So to all the clubs, like now in the quarterfinals,
yes,
it's not about winning at home and losing abroad, but it's about winning everywhere. Or make sure that you get a good ratio between the goal scored and goal scored against you, so as you can qualify.
So as a Simba supporter, I'm like, to which percentage do you see Simba in quarterfinals, in these semifinals?
It's little. But as a Simba supporter, obviously I would want us to win by maybe 60%. But as a football analyst, I would drop like that percentage of us to win. I would put it maybe at 25. Because we, in the group games, many goals were scored against us.
Yeah.
We allowed our nets to ship in 13 goals, while we scored 6 goals.
Yeah, thank you very much. With that, but the same thing I would like to pass to Mamelodi Sundowns and Al Hilal, and immediately you can combine it with the CS Constantine with Esperance, the defending champion, and WAC Casablanca with another Horoya. So I'm like, which teams for you do you see in the semi-finals?
Al Ahly is a football giant. It has won more than 7
have the record 7
Champions League. But Mamelodi Sundowns is also emerging.
Sweet.
In the league, for example, now, they're leading. And back in last year, they were also leading.
Yeah.
So Al Ahly could win,
yes,
even though Mamelodi Sundowns, they have a chance.
Yes.
For example, with Constantine versus Tunisia, yes, here I root for Esperance. Tunisia, as the defending champion, obviously. Yeah. And with Horoya versus WAC Casablanca, here I would root for Horoya to win.
Wow.
As usual, surprise packages.
You are surprise package. So now we can see Simba, Horoya, Esperance de Tunis, and Mamelodi Sundowns or El Hilal in the semi-finals.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Let's wait for
inshallah,
the matches to come. So I would like just to thank you very much for being with us. And thanking the viewers to keep in touch with us. We hope to meet you every day in our World of Sport with the news from all over the world in different fields of sport. We were with friend Edwin. Thank you for being there. Thank you for sharing with us. We can even invite you. Feel welcome. Feel always welcome to us on national television, Ankara, Turkey, with your boy Camilos Lovos. We hope to see you in our next program of World Sport. Have life, have peace. Ciao, shalom.